friends. Today, let's do a lesson on goodness of God. This is one of my favorite songs, probably my favorite song of the past year that we've been doing at church, and it's just, it's an easy one to sing. I love the simple melody, and the words are just awesome. The guitar is one of the coolest parts in it. So let's go over some of those chords today. I think the original key, I think it's in A flat. I don't really remember. But for today, we're just gonna do the key of G here because that's the shape they use anyway. So at the beginning of the song, it starts off with this. What I'm doing here is I'm just suspending the G chord. If you look in an actual chord book, or if you look online at some traditional chords, it'll probably tell you to do your pinky on the bottom, your third finger on the top, your second finger on the A string in the second fret, and then it'll tell you to use your first finger still back here in the first fret. But most people don't play their G like that. Most people either play it with the third finger on the bottom, second on the top, first finger there. Or the most common way now is to move your third finger to the B string and your fourth finger below. With that, a lot of times I don't even put my first finger on. I just let the skin, this part of my second finger, hang over and mute the A string right there. So even though I'm strumming all 6 strings, you're not hearing the A string because I'm muting it. The reason I do that is it allows my first finger to be free here to accent certain notes. I was just pulling off on the G string, the D string, and then the A string right there. We can talk in another video about what those little notes are and chords are, but just know that if you leave that first finger free, it just allows you to accent stuff. Using that technique, I put my first finger, it's a bit of a stretch, and it does take some getting used to. But the more you stretch those fingers out, you'll get used to making that stretch back to the first fret there. So to suspend that G, I'm taking my first finger, putting it all the way back here in the first fret. So what I have to do then is I have to lift up my third finger like that so that you can actually hear that note right there. So at the beginning of Goodness of God, it's kind of subtle, so you may not be able to see me picking up my hands. I'll try to show you here. Hopefully that makes sense to you. With this G here, you can either put that third finger back on every time, or you can leave it off. You can put it back on, or you can do it like that. If you have any specific questions on that part, just holler at me. All right, so that's the beginning. And when it comes to strum pattern, I've mentioned this in other videos, but don't try to cram the song into your strum pattern. Make the strum pattern fit your song, right? So it's not really super important exactly what strum pattern you do here, as long as you accent the downbeat, right? I'm not even thinking about what my right hand's doing. I just know when it has to come down again. Let's press on. I love you, Lord, for your mercy. There's your C chord, right? Never fails me. Back to the G. And then as a passing chord here, you can do a D with an F sharp in the bass. All my days to your E minor. So you can either do the actual D and then use your thumb on the F sharp to get that passing note. And then in your E minor, you can do E minor with your second and third finger. You can do it with your first and second finger. For this song, it's really whatever's most comfortable for you. So another option for this is you could just put one finger back here. Instead of doing the actual D and then putting your thumb in the bass, you could just go all my days. So you're just keeping your G, the bottom part of your G, intact there. Lifting up your second finger, putting your first finger on the top string in the second fret. And then you get back to your E minor. And again, you can leave your third and fourth finger here. I just like the folky sound of lifting them up and just doing the traditional E minor. all my days, or all my days. I've been held, see, in your hand. So something I do here, rather than go to the traditional D, I prefer to go C and then slide up to this D right here. Just know that it's a kind of a D suspension that works really just in the key of G. We can talk in another video about what this D is, but it's just your traditional C here, slid up 1, 2 frets. It's where your third finger lands you in the 5th fret, right? Okay? I've been held in your hand. All right, so let's try that from the beginning again. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. Passing chord, all my days. I've been C up to D, and then we're going back to the E minor. From the moment that I wake up, C, until I lay my G, D, F sharp in the bass, the E minor, I will sing. There's your C chord up to D, the goodness of God. So there's your intro up through the verse. And the chorus you have, and all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. And go to this D again, right? With every breath. And we're gonna walk this down. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Before I show you the bridge, let me show you something else I do. So rather than just doing this C, a lot of times, I will take and do a C with a G in the bass. So get your traditional C, your standard C here, move your third finger up 1, and you put your 4th finger below it where your 3rd finger just was, and then you can strum all 6. To get you this nice full sound. So I'll use that a lot too. Oh, I will sing of the goodness. And you can leave that 3rd finger on when you go up to that D. So it's just this really big sound of the goodness of God. The bridge is going to be a G with a B in the bass. Lift your 2nd finger up, and what I do is I use my thumb to kind of just come over the top and barely touch the top string so that it mutes it, so that I can still strum all 6, but you're not hearing that top string, right? Or some people will just let the skin of their 1st finger hang over the string a bit and touch the top string, and it mutes it as well. I'm just gotten used to using my thumb, but whatever's more comfortable for you. If you just strum a G, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. It doesn't get that nice walk up. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. So I like G with a B in the bass. It's a C9. And then sometimes I will go up to this D because I just like the walk up there. But I would say most of the time when I play this at church, I just go down to the traditional D and then back up to G. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you E minor everything. G with the B to C9 to D. Running after me. That's all the parts of goodness of God. Now, when I actually lead this song, because that's just either way too low or way too high for me, what I do is I sing it in the key of D. So I'm gonna play it in a C shape. I'm gonna capo the 2nd fret, and I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna suspend this. I love you, Lord, C to F for your mercy. And rather than going to the bar chord F or down to this F that you'll find in the chord book, so what I'm doing here is I keep my 3rd finger on where the top of the C goes, put my pinky, my 4th finger just below it, right, as if we were going to suspend the chord, put my thumb on the top, and then take my 2nd finger off, and I'll leave my 1st finger where the C was. It's an F2 or an F9 major 7. We've got to walk it down, so we're going to do a G over B to A minor for all my days, A minor. I've been held in your G hands that A minor, you can either do A minor or A minor 7. From the moment that I wake up until I lay. There's your C, G with the B in the bass. So it's just a G chord, but taking the top off, A minor. I will sing F chord, the G of the goodness of God. Now we're going to the F on the chorus. And all my life you have been faithful. Back to F. All my life you have been so good. To G. With every breath that I see. G with the B in the bass, A minor. I will sing F to G of the goodness of God. All right, last part. We're going into the bridge and the male key. So we're doing a C, but we want to put in the bass note, right? So we're going to do a C with an E in the bass. So instead of muting that top string, we're just going to let it ring out. Your goodness is, and then get your F, running after G, running after me. Okay, so C with the E in the bass. Your goodness is F chord, running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you A minor, everything. Back to C with the E in the bass. Your goodness is running after me. All right, there's a female key and a male key for Goodness of God. Comment below with any questions, and let me know if there's another song you'd like a guitar tutorial for. Peace.